Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So we are starting with a pretty significant tease coming from PlayStation, specifically coming from the PlayStation first-party studio, Housemarque. If we head over to their official X account, they have two different teases. The first is an image of shattered glass, and it seems to be the face of Celine, the main character of Returnal, and there's simply the text that reads tomorrow. But they also put out a second tease not too long after. It's a short 5-second video where it's basically teasing the same thing, except the word tomorrow slowly starts to shatter, almost like ice cracking or glass cracking. And obviously this has put a lot of people into speculation mode, trying to figure out what could they be teasing. It's clearly some type of an announcement. Now, it's worth noting that tomorrow marks the 3-year anniversary of Returnal, and so it makes sense that if they're going to have something relevant to announce for this game, to do it on the game's anniversary. Now, to make things more interesting, and maybe give us a little bit of a hint at how significant this announcement could end up being, if we head over to the official PlayStation Studios XDev account, they are also teasing the same thing that Housemarque is teasing for tomorrow. And obviously it is Returnal related, but I think this is important and worth noting because it seems to communicate that whatever it is Housemarque is going to announce tomorrow, PlayStation's XDev team helped them work on it. So does this confirm it's something massive? Not necessarily, but it maybe does hint at whatever this announcement being something, you know, relatively significant. So obviously people are immediately thinking it's going to be DLC or maybe some type of an expansion. I think that actually is somewhat likely. I don't know if I would necessarily expect like a massive expansion, but just some type of small DLC to kind of bring people back to Returnal. I think that would be fantastic. I loved Returnal. I know many of you did. So the idea of getting, you know, a new DLC for this game 3 years later is pretty awesome. But something else that I've seen people mention that actually might end up being the case, although again, I don't want to get anybody too excited if you happen to own PSVR2, a lot of people are thinking maybe this is going to be the announcement of a PSVR2 mode for Returnal, and maybe that's why XDev is kind of involved to help make that happen. I'm not sure how that would work exactly. I'm not sure what that would be like, but what I do know is that would certainly be an interesting announcement for PSVR2, and it would be pretty cool if that happened, to see a PlayStation studio kind of still, you know, even years after their game release, going back and doing something like that. But outside of that, just to kind of go in a different direction, could it be something very small, maybe like a new weapon or two, or just something like that, just to celebrate the game's anniversary? Yes. So I do want to let people know, for as much speculating as we're doing right now, keep your expectations in check. I have seen on Twitter anyway, people are getting very excited for whatever this is, and that's fine. I mean, Housemarque is out here straight up teasing it, saying tune in tomorrow, but yeah, very interesting, and I will be sure to keep you guys updated with this. Let me know what you think it is down below. Moving on to the next topic, I want to talk to you guys about the PlayStation 5 Pro once again, because we have Digital Foundry chiming in and letting everybody know what the 45% faster GPU inside of the PS5 Pro should end up doing for games, specifically games that use dynamic resolution. Now, it's worth noting many games still use dynamic resolution, and because of that, it seems like the PS5 Pro will actually do quite a bit for these games. It says here, being reported by WCCF Tech, the tech experts at Digital Foundry recently discussed the specs of the yet-to-be-revealed mid-gen refresh, going over what PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution and the Ultra Boost mode could bring to the table, and which games could benefit the most from the enhancements they should bring on day one without any input from developers. Among the titles that should benefit the most, we're looking at games that are using things like AMD FSR2 aggressively, like Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, which does look somewhat blurry in the performance mode, games like Immortals of Avium, and most of Sony's first-party titles like God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, The Last of Us Part 1, Remake, Part 2 Remastered. And it says here that games that do not utilize dynamic resolution scaling and already run at a solid 30 or 60 frames per second will not see any improvement from PSSR and Ultra Boost mode, and will likely require an actual PS5 Pro patch to take advantage of the console's increased specs. And so that's something that I wanted to highlight here that I feel like we didn't really cover too well, and not too many people are talking about it, is the Ultra Boost mode for the PS5 Pro and how it could be a pretty, I don't say huge, but significant difference maker for a lot of games out there. And the best part about it is developers won't have to do literally anything. Of course, we want developers to patch their games with PS5 Pro upgrades, but for those who maybe just don't have the time or resources to make that happen, in a lot of different instances, we're going to see the PS5 Pro just, boost those games just due to the increased hardware and horsepower. And I think specifically looking at something like the dynamic resolution boost that Digital Foundry is expecting to be quite significant. Again, many games still use dynamic resolution, some of them very aggressively, and the PS5 Pro should just be able to kind of brute force its way to just increasing the raw resolution and keeping it at a higher resolution at all times, which is nice. So wanted to just let you guys know about that. Moving on to the next topic, we have an update on an upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive, Lost Soul Aside, being reported by Gaming Bolt. It says here, we've been hearing about Lost Soul Aside for years at this point, and though the Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy inspired action RPG has continued to look impressive with each of its new showings, details on when the game will actually launch have remained frustratingly elusive. However, that might change soon. Developer Yulty Zero Games recently confirmed via the title's official Twitter page that Lost Soul Aside has been rated and approved for release in mainland China. As explained by industry analyst Daniel Ahmad of Nico Partners, that means the game can now officially release in the region, which in turn indicates details on when it will launch, and this should be shared fairly soon, as he puts it. As per Ahmad, an announcement will likely be made, quote, within the next 3 months or so. Updates on Lost Soul Aside have been pretty scant, but the developer did say that they would be sharing more information later, and so it seems like we are going to be hearing about Lost Soul Aside sooner rather than later. I do find, again, the timing of this interesting, how we should be hearing something within the next 3 months or so. Well, I mean, there's been a lot of talk of an upcoming PlayStation showcase. Lost Soul Aside is one of the bigger titles that Sony has been kind of getting behind and rallying around when it comes to the China Hero project, and there's actually quite a bit of fanfare for it. So maybe this is a game that will show up at an upcoming PlayStation showcase, but either way, it's good news. They're making progress. They're nearing the end of development, and hopefully we will get a release date for this soon. Continuing to talk about 2024 PlayStation 5 exclusives and release dates, we have yet another update on Silent Hill 2 Remake. This is being reported by Push Square. First, we're going over the fact that Bloober Team seems to be very confident in what they're about to deliver with Silent Hill 2 Remake. It says here the studio released its annual report to shareholders where the team expressed optimism about the project, acknowledging that remaking a game as iconic as Silent Hill 2 will be, quote, the most important test the studio has ever faced. Bloober Team states, in 2023, almost half of our production forces were focused on the currently loudest project in the industry, Silent Hill 2, which we are creating together with our partner Konami. It is one of the most recognizable brands in the gaming world and definitely a key one when it comes to the horror genre. We make every effort to provide the best possible emotions, both to those who played the original over 20 years ago and those whom this will be the first time they approach the famous series. And so obviously, again, they have a lot of confidence, but something else that's very important to highlight that was revealed here is the CEO of Bloober Team also stated that Konami will be announcing the release date very soon. He also mentions platforms, so I'm not sure what that means. We know that Silent Hill 2 is going to be a PlayStation 5 console exclusive for at least a year, so maybe he's referring to PC because it will be launching on PC. But yeah, this is something, again, that I just kind of want to reiterate. Silent Hill 2 is still on track for a 2024 release, and I have a feeling that if there is going to be some kind of showcase, this is a game that is guaranteed to be there. And frankly, I can't wait. I feel like I've been talking about Silent Hill 2 and the Silent Hill 2 remake for years now, and it's clear it's pretty much done and ready to go. Moving on to the final update, though, I just want to let you guys know about a new PlayStation VR2 game, a relatively big one, seemingly, that was just announced. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. It says developer Servios announced the VR action horror game Alien Rogue Incursion on Friday. The upcoming game is on its way to PlayStation VR2 and other VR platforms in the 2024 holiday season. Servios revealed Alien Rogue Incursion with a short teaser trailer on Friday. The video doesn't reveal much about the upcoming action horror game. However, according to the studio, it features an original story and gameplay, quote, full of heart-pounding action, exploration, and terrifying xenomorphs. It says here, our team at Servios are huge fans of Alien and have been building Alien Rogue Incursion for a long time, honing our ability to pair the most technically advanced, immersive, and engaging VR experiences with best-in-class franchises. This fully original story embraces all of our favorite elements from 45 years of Alien, from kinetic action and heart-pounding exploration to our terrifyingly resourceful xenomorphs that will truly make your skin crawl. And so, wanted to let you guys know about this because, again, anybody who has purchased PlayStation VR2 is always looking for new game announcements and to see what kind of support this VR headset is getting. And to me, this does seem like it has the potential to be a bigger type of game that's going to release for PSVR2. I mean, I don't know if anybody here is a huge fan of the Alien series, but, you know, a game that comes to mind is Alien Isolation. A lot of people really love that game, and unfortunately, they didn't really do anything after that or make a game similar to Alien Isolation. So maybe this game will take inspiration from that, and it'll be somewhat similar, but this time in VR. Could be pretty cool. But again, just wanted to let you guys know about that. That's going to do it for the video, though. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. If you did, leave it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.